Welcome to Sports Talk.
Hello everyone, welcome. I'm Nick.
And I'm Jackson.
From Top Notch Sports. Today we're going to be going over the Los Angeles Rams offseason salary review with his head coach, offensive-minded genius Sean McVay, coming from old John Gruden's coaching tree back in the day. This guy's an absolute offensive-minded genius. You go out, you get someone like Matthew Stafford. Let's see what this team can do this offseason. A little hint going into this video, they're not going to be able to do much because they are negative in cap space. Let's hop right into it where Jackson will explain this first slide. Go ahead.
Well, Nick, you are indeed correct. They are negative in cap. In fact, they are negative $34.6 million in the hole. Can't get much done with that. We remember here, these are the guys under contract. Right now, some names that you normally see on this roster are not here due because they are not under contract. Green is you cut and you save some cap. Red is you cut and lose some cap. All right, let's look at this Rams team. They lost in the divisional round this past season to the Green Bay Packers. They beat the Seattle Seahawks, which did win this division. So they had a pretty solid run going. And we look over here at the offensive side of football. You know who they got brought in to, bring them back to the Super Bowl, hopefully? They brought in Matt Stafford from the Detroit Lions for Jared Goff, 2 first-round picks, and a 3rd-round pick. Let us know what you think about that trade. We have certain thoughts about the trade, but we won't let you know that in this video. This team's got some pieces on the offensive side of the ball. They have a very, very solid offensive line. Not really struggled there. Besides their center and Brian Allen, they are losing their center Austin Blythe due to free agency. They got a solid wide receiver core: Robert Woods, Cooper Kupp, and Van Jefferson, who was just a rookie this past season. Cam Akers, another stud running back that was also a rookie, played phenomenally well. Tyler Higbee, been a solid tight end these past couple years. This is where the struggles really happen besides a couple names here on the defensive side of the ball. You got your Jalen Ramsey, arguably the best corner in the league. You got Aaron Donald, arguably the best football player in the league. Michael Brockers isn't bad. But the struggles besides Ramsey is mostly the secondary. David Long doesn't play much, and you got 2 inexperienced safeties and Nick Scott and Jordan Fuller. So let's see what happens there. Other than Justin Holland, you got a pretty weak linebacker core. Let's see what this team does this offseason. It's going to be tough being negative $34.6 million in the hole.
Absolutely. Again, it's going to all come down to what Sean McVay wants to do. When I covered this trade, I told you guys right away, this is Super Bowl or bust. You guys got 2 to 3 years to bring a Super Bowl. The first Super Bowl to Matthew Stafford. Can you guys go back? A few years ago, you guys were there. Bringing in Stafford's an upgrade, for sure. It's just, did you guys give up too much? And the question is, in my opinion, if you win a Super Bowl, nothing's ever too much. So Stafford definitely will help you try to get there, but will he be enough to get you there? Again, Jackson pointed out this secondary is not the greatest. You're losing a lot of key pieces. The linebacking core is not the greatest either. You're losing Leonard Floyd this year due to free agency. So you look at this team, right? You got Robert Woods, who I'm a fan of. You got Cooper Kupp, who I'm a real big fan of. And you got Van Jefferson. This kid from Florida, was a huge fan of him coming out of the draft. Once I watched more film on him. Great route runner. I love this kid a lot. I think he's going to be a really good player for this system. You got Cam Akers. I don't know why the heck you guys didn't start him earlier. This kid is explosive. He can make plays constantly. I had a high scouting grade on him coming out of college, and I don't know why he didn't become a starter much sooner. I know the other running backs were running pretty good, but Cam Akers deserved a role. You drafted him early. Play him. He's not going to disappoint. Again, this defense, Aaron Donald might honestly be the best defender in our lifetime, and I mean, he may be the best football player in the history of football. He is an absolute force to be reckoned with. Year in, year out, beating double teams. I mean, I think this guy can beat a triple team at times. He is just absolutely phenomenal. And if you take 2 guys off of you, if 2 guys team up on you, somebody should get freed up on the outside. You got Jalen Ramsey here, absolute lockdown corner, and the safeties definitely going to struggle there. Let's see what we do in the draft after we mention the notable losses. Go ahead, Jackson.
All right, this team's definitely losing some key pieces. Starting off, we got Leonard Floyd. He's an edge. He's expecting a big payday in 4 years, $52 million. Played 89.5% of the snaps. Austin Blythe, the center, his expected deal is 1 year, $4 million. Played 100% of the offensive snaps. Losing your second defensive piece, Troy Hill, cornerback. His expected deal is 1 year, $4.5 million. Played 94.9% of the snaps. Losing a tight end in Gerald Everett. His expected deal is 3 years, $22 million. played 56.8% of the snaps, losing a safety in John Johnson. You notice the secondary just getting weaker and weaker by going down this list. His expected deal is 5 years, $42 million, played 93.9% of the snaps, losing a receiver in Josh Reynolds. His expected contract is 2 years, $10 million, played 71.7% of snaps, and losing another piece in the secondary in Darius Williams. His expected contract is 2 years, $8 million, played 80.5% of the snaps.
Yeah, so typically I would say every video I'm going to say it again. You want to bring back the guys that play a high percent of the snaps, keep some familiarity, familiar faces, continuity, chemistry. But again, this team, unfortunately, is negative over $30 million in cap space. So unless we cut some players, you're not going to be able to get back to the positives. So let's take a look ahead. Here we go. Estimated cap space, $34.6 million. Estimated cuts, nobody. I mean, you guys are not going to free yourselves up $34.6 million, so there's no reason to cut nobody. Estimated signings, well, if you're negative $34.6 million, you can't sign nobody. So that means your remaining cap is negative $34.6 million. Team needs, this is how we're going to do it. And again, considering you guys got no money, you're going to have to nail this draft. Every pick that you have, you got to nail it. So at you see a linebacker here, you guys are going to draft Pete Werner. I'm saying again down here, you can see where I have him going, probably in that middle to late third round. Pete Werner. The purple right here, this lighter color is what picks you have. The darker color here, this, I think they call it cornflower blue. These three picks right here are compensatory picks. We don't really know if they're going to be the third round, fourth round. That's what we're projecting. You have 3 third rounds. I don't really know, but I wanted to play it safe and say 2 fourths in the third. So Pete Werner in the third round. And as we go down the list, so that establishes a linebacker. You can play inside linebacker, really good player. Again, not a bad piece here. You can play inside or outside, but again, he would be a nice piece for you guys to add in that late third or early fourth round. Your cornerback, draft Aaron Robinson. This guy, he excels in the slot position. Not a bad cornerback. He's 6'1", 194. He's a big physical corner. I'm a big fan of him, honestly. I watched a little bit of film on him. I got to do some more scouting analysis on all these players. But again, he may fall into your laps in that third round as well. And then finally, the free safety, Ardarius Washington. This kid right here, he's been flying up draft boards lately. I think he's only 5'9", 5'10", maybe even 5'8". Not too sure. Right around that range. Give me those 3 inches, please. I'll have more information on that when we do our scouting analysis and break down the safeties. This kid, he can play free safety, strong safety. He can play a little bit of slot and nickel corner. He is not bad either. I really like him. I think that this kid could be a stud for you guys as well. So we'll have to wait and see what happens there. Let's hop right in to the final projected starters for next season. Go ahead, Jackson.
All right, you guys are still negative $34.6 million in the cap, like Nick mentioned. And seeing this team again, I'm just quickly point out the offensive side. They still want to address drafting a center for sure in this draft. Like Nick said, you got to nail every draft pick. You definitely love to nail a center, make sure bolster up that offensive line. And then, of course, in pink, Matt Stafford, the newly acquired quarterback for this Rams team. And then we're going to slide over here to the defense. You got all these guys in the blue here, all your draft picks. Aaron Robinson, like Nick said, solid cornerback. You got to boost up that secondary. Ardarius Washington, again, another safety you guys want to boost this secondary. Secondary is going to need a lot of help this year. And then Pete Werner, again, a solid linebacker. Again, develop him, maybe give him a shot and see what he can do. And we're still going to address probably another linebacker in the draft for sure. Another safety, and then another corner most likely. This team's definitely going to have to nail all their picks in the draft, like Nick mentioned. And I got faith in Sean McVay and this coaching staff and front office. I think they can definitely get it done. Like you said earlier, this team is probably Super Bowl or bust. So, maybe that ups the mentality a little bit, make sure they want to get things done. I got high hopes for this Rams team. I got high hopes for Matt Stafford. Got high hopes for everyone.
Yeah, exactly. And again, after watching, doing this video, again, I don't know who's under contract for the next 2 years. I don't know if guys are only under contract for just this upcoming season, but I know Stafford's going to be here, I'm pretty sure, for 2 years. And when you look at this team, as long as if they can keep some of these key pieces and bring these guys back next year, again, they can make a strong push. If they have this much of a draft, these players, they choose these players and they hit right on these guys, and these guys play like they're supposed to play, I feel like this team could be solid. offensive line is really solid. The only position that you would want to change here is a center position in Brian Allen. For the defensive side of the ball, Sebastian Joseph Day is actually a really good nose tackle. Michael Brockers always plays good. Aaron Donald is a generational talent. Jalen Ramsey's a lockdown corner, probably the best cornerback in football right now. Jordan Fuller, he didn't play that bad on his stats, but again, you might want to try to look at drafting another safety just for depth purposes. Another linebacker for sure. Look, this team is right there. I love the receiving core. Tyler Higbee, Cooper Kupp, Robert Woods, Van Jefferson, running back, and Cam Akers. This team could win the next 2-3 years. The question is, do they continue to hit on their draft picks? They don't have a first rounder, but bringing in names like Cam Akers and Van Jefferson over the years could help this team. And all they got to do is hit the next few years, and this team could be pretty dang good. But it is Super Bowl or bust. If they don't win a Super Bowl with Matthew Stafford as their quarterback, then this trade was a major fail. That's just the truth. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know how far you guys think you can go. Again, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. Stay tuned. We got much more coming your way. You're going to want to leave a like and subscribe. We got so much more coming, so stay tuned. Scouting analysis, mock draft, and so much more. So be sure to leave a like and subscribe. Jackson, we are
Built better.
See you guys soon. Peace.